Have you ever felt like you were being watched? Like something was out there, waiting? For weeks now, something has been following me, lurking just beyond the edge of my vision. It's real, and it's getting closer. This isn't just a story. It's happening right now. I live in Minnesota. Not a lot of interesting things happen here. I'm aware that I'm not supposed to talk about this, but I need to get this out so others know what to do if one of these creatures start hunting them. It happened around last March. I was behind my house where a small playground is located. It was around 9 p.m., and I was bored, so I was on the swing for around an hour, listening to music. After a while, I got off the swing and looked behind me. I saw something across the field and under the trail light. It was tall, way too tall, around 8 feet tall after I went to the light the next day and measured it. Even though this thing was far away from me, like around 70 feet away, I could see it clearly. Its skin was disgustingly pale and was far too tight, ripping at the joints and squeezing onto the body. Its smile, it was a real one. It was trying to imitate a smile. It was twisted and sickening, the teeth a mix of animal and human, way too many to fit in its mouth. I could barely see its eyes. I couldn't tell what color they were, but they were glowing from the trail light. I immediately teared up once I processed what this thing was. I refused to look away from it. I slowly backed up, keeping my eyes on it. I slowly opened the gate to my backyard and shut it as quietly as possible. I slowly walked up the steps to the back door and didn't look away until the back door was shut and locked. I quickly went to my mother's room to just hang out with her and calm down. But I didn't tell her about what I saw. She doesn't believe in these creatures. Later that night, I was on the phone with my friends when I heard a tapping on my window. It was a rhythmic sound, not random like a bird or a bush hitting it. He immediately started crying. This was before I knew what to do. I quickly told my friends what was happening as the tapping moved from the window to the wall beside the window. My bedroom is in the basement, so my window is against the ground. My cat immediately went to the wall where the tapping was and wouldn't get away from it. I called my stepdad, crying that there was someone outside my window. I refused to look though. I was terrified. My stepdad quickly went outside to see who the hell was outside and making me so terrified. When he came back, he told me there was nothing and that my imagination was probably playing tricks on me. I didn't sleep that night. After a few weeks, I was at my biological dad's house. I told him what happened and he immediately became terrified for me. He understands these creatures all too well. He told me what to do and what not to do if it tires to get to me. Once I was back at home, I was on the phone again. It was around 11 at night, and I went upstairs to feed my cat. I then looked outside and saw something, a deer. He watched it for a moment, before realizing it wasn't a deer. It was the thing. Wearing a deer's skin, it was melted onto its body and covered in blood. I could see the pale arms under the hooves blending in with the snow. I panicked and told my friends what was happening. I ran to my bathroom and locked myself inside. I called my dad and told him what happened. He quickly told me to yell, "In the name of Christ, I command you to stop." He explained to me that Christ was a command and a kind of power, not a person. Me and my father are agnostic, so this makes sense to us. I screamed and cried, "In the name of Christ, I command you to stop." I stayed in there for an hour while my boyfriends tried to calm me down on the phone. My dad had gone to the woods and screamed into them and at the creature, demanding it leaves me alone. After an hour, my boyfriend had convicted me that I was safe. It's the best way to protect yourself from these things. I eventually went back to my room and fell asleep while drawing. I haven't had another experience with it yet, but since I talked about it, I'm sure I'll unfortunately see it soon. I don't know if this is the last time I'll see it, or if it's already too late. But one thing's for sure, I'll keep documenting this until the very end. Is it still out there, or is it closer than we think? If you've experienced anything like this, tell me in the comments. Stay safe out there.